A girl wanted to have a taste of this guy brave soldier lols, but things didn't go well as planned. Figure out what happened after she had a taste of his brave soldier in this recap. And please make sure to subscribe to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. It may look simple, but really helpful. The film starts with Sebastian Valmont talking to his therapist, Dr. Greenbaum, about his problems regarding his adult time affairs. He pretends to be cured, but comments on how beautiful the doctor's legs are and would love to photograph them. Then he observes a photo of Greenbaum's daughter, Marcy, commenting on how pretty she is. Not long after Sebastian leaves, Greenbaum gets a call from Marcy, who is crying her eyes out over a guy she thought she loved that put inappropriate photos of her online. Marcy says that the guy told her she had nice legs and he wanted to photograph them, so Regina realizes it was Sebastian. She runs out of her office to yell at Sebastian, but he just gives her a smug smile and goes off with a girl he just met. Sebastian's stepsister, Catherine Murtool, is talking to Mrs. Bunny Caldwell and her daughter Cecile about the prep school that she attends, with Bunny hoping that Cecile attends a good school. But Cecile is more interested in the boys there. Mrs. Bunny comments about how Catherine's stepbrother should have been expelled after what he did to the school nurse. Just in time, Sebastian enters and interrupts, and it's obvious Bunny hates his guts. After they leave, Catherine snorts some Coca-Cola. Then Sebastian and Catherine discuss how she is only trying to use Cecile in a revenge scheme against a guy named Court Reynolds, who dumped Catherine and got together with Cecile soon after. Catherine needs Sebastian to seduce Cecile in order for her plan to work. While she talks, she flirts with her stepbrother by caressing herself. She even teases him. However, Sebastian says he is unable to pursue Cecil because he has other plans. The two then discuss an article in 17 magazine written by Annette Hargrove, the virginal daughter of their school's new headmaster. While Catherine reads the article, Sebastian starts to touch her. It turns out Annette has a boyfriend named. Catherine then proposes a wager to Sebastian. If he succeeds in seducing Annette, Catherine will allow Sebastian to sleep with her. But if he fails, Catherine inherits his Jaguar XK140. Sebastian doesn't seem interested until Catherine promises he can put it anywhere. The deal is made. Sebastian's Aunt Helen introduces him to Annette as she visits his family's estate. He starts to chat up Annette and even tries to make a move, but she makes it clear she is not interested, especially since she already knows about his reputation as a womanizer. A friend had told her all about Sebastian's sexcapades. Sebastian gets offended and later complains about this to his friend Blaine Tuttle. Blaine thinks that Annette was told by her ex-boyfriend Greg McConnell, whom Blaine has hooked up with in secrecy. He offers to help Sebastian get the info he wants by entrapping Greg caught doing something gay. Meanwhile, Greg is talking to his boys about how he was rough with a girl. He's interrupted by Blaine, who wants to hook up. Cecile is having a cello lesson with her teacher, Ronald Clifford, who shares a mutual attraction with Cecile. Catherine shows up to interrupt and steals Cecile away. Before Ronald leaves, Cecile awkwardly tells him she loves Martin Luther King Jr. Then, Catherine takes her to a park for a picnic and discusses Cecile's boyfriend, Court. Cecile says Court had recently broke up with a bulimic nut. Catherine pulls on her hair because she knows it's about her, but she apologizes. Catherine offers to show her how to get to first base with a guy by showing Cecile how to kiss. They do a French kiss, which leaves Cecile wanting more. Catherine tells Cecile to try it on Ronald sometime. She even offers to write some love letters for Cecile to give to Ronald. Sebastian makes another attempt to seduce Annette by having her join him in his pool. Sebastian gifts her a nice bag with her name etched on it. She joins for a little, but she catches him butt naked. She discusses what her friend told her about Sebastian. Eventually, she sees through his phony attempts to be sweet and endearing to her, and she quickly leaves. Blaine sets Greg up by getting him in bed and having Sebastian walk in at the right time to take pictures that he plans to blackmail Greg with, unless he says how Annette found out about his reputation. Greg goes out of his way to find out who it could be by spending time with Annette while walking on the beach. As he tries to hype up Sebastian to Annette, Greg finds out that Bunny is the one that told Annette about Sebastian. Because of this, Sebastian decides to go with Catherine's plan to seduce Cecile. While talking about the plan, Catherine rubs her body on her stepbro while he gives her a massage. Catherine really starts to get him worked up, but she leaves him with blue ball. Also, Catherine had set up a camera to spy on Cece, in which she finds Cecile doing a handstand, but no hard evidence to show she's cheating. Sebastian then manages to get on Annette's good side and the two hang out. Then, Catherine tells Bunny about Ronald and Cecile, so she goes to confront Ronald during a lesson. She is disgusted because she's racist, and she fires Ronald, ordering him to never set foot near her daughter again. When Ronald leaves, he conveniently finds the step-siblings who hand him a love letter from Cecile. They convince Ronald to write Cecile a letter so they can hand-deliver it to her. As Catherine is about to continue her plans, Sebastian hesitates and thinks they might be going too far. However, Catherine says it's time women get to have power. She's tired of being slut-shamed and tired of acting like a lady. Sebastian agrees to continue with the plan and tells Cecile he has a letter to hand-deliver to her. Then, Cecile visits Sebastian to write more letters. He takes photographs of her and says she's not sexy. She tries to prove him wrong and starts to undo her clothes. He tries to get her to take all her clothes off, but she becomes uncomfortable and wants to leave. Sebastian then tries to blackmail her by saying he will tell her mother about Ronald, but Cecile begs him not. He tells her he just wants to give her a kiss. Cecile puckers up, but Sebastian tells her he doesn't want to kiss her. He pulls down her pants and does the alphabet with his tongue. The next day, while Annette and Cecile are eating breakfast, Sebastian strokes his tennis racket to tease Cecile about their past activity. Then, Sebastian continues to try and win over Annette by going to do community service at a retirement home, which bores him. He rides back home with Annette, who tries to get him to laugh by making silly faces. Despite his attempts to hold back, she succeeds, and he manages to smile. The two even start holding hands. Cecile later tells Catherine about her time with Sebastian. Cecile admits that she really enjoyed herself and had her first orgasm. Catherine advises her in order to please Ronald, she should sleep with as many guys as possible so Cecile will be an expert. Because of this, Sebastian and Cecile sleep with each other. Despite this, he continues to think about Annette as he starts to fall in love with her. Sebastian and Catherine spy on Annette as she is outside crying while reading a book. Sebastian admits to Catherine that he hasn't slept with Annette yet, so Catherine says she should ride her new Jaguar now since he's going to lose their bet. Sebastian says that the only thing she'll be riding is him. Then, Sebastian goes to join Annette and starts to kiss her, but after a while, she pulls back. He asks why she won't be with him, and she tells him that she doesn't trust herself around. Later that night, Sebastian confronts Annette in her room and calls her a hypocrite for talking about finding true love, but rejecting it when she clearly feels the same way about him. Annette then gives in and decides to sleep with Sebastian, but he cannot bring himself to do it and starts to tell her off. Annette leaves the house the morning after, but Sebastian finds out from Greg as to where she is headed. He finds her and tells her he really is in love with her, and the two kiss before going back home to finally make. The next day, Catherine offers herself to Sebastian since he has won the bet, but he no longer cares about it and only wants to be with Annette. Even as Catherine attempts to seduce him, he rejects her. He wants to tell Annette the truth, but Catherine warns him that he will ruin both their reputations if word got out about the bet. Sebastian then goes to find Annette and lie to her, saying he never cared for her and only wanted to see what she was like in bed. Distraught, Annette tells Sebastian to go away. He returns to Catherine to try and settle their deal, only to find that she was having relations with Ron. Catherine then admits to Sebastian that she knew he loved Annette and taunts him for tricking him into breaking up with her just for the fun of it. Sebastian tries to make things right with Annette by visiting at her home, but her mother pretends that she isn't there, knowing she doesn't want to see him. He decides to write Annette a note and sends it to her, along with his journal detailing all of his conquests and his whole scheme with Catherine. Meanwhile, Catherine calls Ronald and tells him that Sebastian slept with Cecile while also lying by saying that he hit Catherine. Ronald catches Sebastian on the street and confronts him about what Catherine told him. They start to fight in the streets, and Annette sees them as she had walked out to go find Sebastian. She tries to intervene, but she gets knocked into the road just as a cab is coming that way. Sebastian runs and pushes Annette out of the way, but even as the cabbie hits the brakes, Sebastian is still struck hard. Annette runs to his side and takes his hand. He tells Annette he loves her just before he dies.